West Virginia teachers are still on strike. Schools in 54 of the 55 counties were closed again today. A new lawsuit alleges smoke detectors at the Carriage Hill Apartments were never repaired. And in sports, an Ohio University women's basketball player is making up for lost time, how she overcame obstacles to lead her team. Newswatch starts right now.
Broadcasting live from WOUB TV in Athens, this is Newswatch.
Good evening, I'm Ben Schwartz. Thank you for joining us. Carriage Hill Apartments in Athens is listed as the defendant in a recently filed lawsuit concerning a 2017 fire. The case, filed by an Ohio University graduate student couple who were living in the apartment complex at the time of the fire, states that Carriage Hill received a notice of violation from the Athens Code Enforcement Office after a January 13th inspection. The violation included orders to repair, replace, or install smoke detectors in 5 apartments, one of which where the fire started. A follow-up inspection was scheduled for February 27th, the day after the fire. Teachers in West Virginia are striking for a second day, even though a controversial education reform bill is suspended indefinitely, according to state lawmakers. Union leaders say they believe there's a small chance that there could still be developments in the legislation. Sean Delancey has more on Senate Bill 451.
Teachers filled the halls and crowded balconies as a late House session progressed without an omnibus spending bill to consider. Democrats happy the chamber killed it that afternoon.
It was great to see 451 go down today.
Unions worried it would be resurrected for another vote, which didn't happen Tuesday evening. Republican Finance Chair Eric Householder saying the Finance Committee will move ahead with a straight 5% pay raise proposed by Governor Jim Justice.
Well, I've had the bill for a while in our possession, and I think, if anything, the Speaker, he indicated that he would like for me to proceed with it.
Even a straight pay raise bill doesn't guarantee the spirit of SB 451 would remain dead.
We'll continue reform. We'll continue to try. We will never stop. Trying to help the people of West Virginia.
Senate President Mitch Carmichael pledging to continue the battle for what he calls an education overhaul, and the Senate has the power to take anything the House sends over and amend it to resemble an omnibus bill once again.
I suspect that the Senate will probably, if I was a betting man, will probably put the provisions of Senate Bill 451 back into this pay raise bill, and we'll see it again, I'm sure.
Charter schools and education savings accounts remain the hot-button provisions. Education Minority Chair Sean Hornbuckle saying there are more important arguments to have before the end of session.
We've got to get back to this PEIA issue and make sure that we're fixing that for all public employees, not just teachers.
Even though the House killed Senate Bill 451 earlier yesterday, they have through the end of the day today to bring it back. If that doesn't happen, the Senate can amend any bill they get from the House through the end of the session. 12 schools in West Virginia will soon have security guards on campus while they wait to have more secure entrances installed. The security guards will cost the county over $80,000. They will be in place while the schools improve security by installing man-trap doors, or double-doored entrances which are remotely locked and reinforced to deter intruders. The Ohio woman killed by her ex-boyfriend last week had previously complained to police about him before. Ohio police records show authorities had interviewed 20-year-old Skylar Williams' ex-boyfriend Tyrell Pounds about the complaints. Pounds later abducted, shot, and killed Williams before a state trooper fatally shot Pounds after a car chase in Kentucky.
Hello, I am forecaster Adlai Carwish here, and we're looking at right now 46 degrees with a winds, not much wind just there, and we're going to take a look at the area over here. We have New Lexington at 43, Athens at 46, Ripley at 51, Jackson at 45. So mostly in the upper 40s to maybe even lower 40s in Columbus with 41. We'll take a look at tonight. Low of 34, rain to stop after midnight, but cloudy. And it will continue through, and it will be cloudy throughout the night. It will start to clear up tomorrow, but the winds will be around 5 to 10 miles per hour. And let's look at tonight's lows for all of southeastern Ohio. We have Athens at 34, Ripley at 39, Columbus at 32, New Lexington at 32 as well. And we'll send it back to you, Ben.
Thank you for the update, Adelaide. The Athens County Emergency Management Agency has a new director. County commissioners hired Donald Gossel yesterday. The EMA has been without a formal director since last November. The former director, Dan Pfeiffer, was fired and has since filed a discrimination complaint against the commissioners. Lenny Eliason from the commissioner's office says he did not have any additional information about the complaint. Ohio Governor Mike DeWine says he will announce a recommendation tomorrow to increase the state's gas tax to help fix Ohio's roads. DeWine says there are no other solutions to what the head of ODOT calls an impending crisis of road maintenance and infrastructure in the state. The governor says the increase is, quote, just to keep us where we are today. In addition to road repairs, State Senator Frank Hogland reintroduced legislation that would help protect Ohio's other infrastructure. Senate Bill 33 increases penalties for trespassing. The bill would impose fines on organizations that are found tampering with valves and controls at pipeline facilities, for example. The bill is being reviewed in the Senate's Judiciary Committee. Kentucky House Republicans want to borrow $150 million to fix up the state's park system. The House Appropriations and Revenue Committee approved a bill on Tuesday. The bill would allow the money to be used to replace roofs and expand campgrounds at state parks. Taxpayers would pay more than $2 million in the fiscal year beginning July 1st. Kentucky lawmakers are taking steps to legalize sports betting. A bill approved in the House today would make it legal to bet on sports in Kentucky and make internet poker and fantasy sports gambling legal as well. The bill could bring in as much as $20 million a year in new taxes. A West Virginia bill that would permit liquor sales after 1 p.m. on Sundays is waiting for the governor's signature. The bill passed both the House of Delegates and the Senate. It would apply to retail outlets and exclude sales on Christmas and Easter. When it comes to American history, a new study shows you might have wished you paid more attention in school. A new survey of 41,000 Americans conducted by the Woodrow Wilson National Fellowship Foundation shows that only one state could pass the U.S. citizenship test. Nationally, only 1 in 4 Americans passed, and only about 25% knew how many amendments were in the Constitution. And about 60% of Ohioans scored a 59% or lower. Bernie Sanders announced a bid for the White House, but one Ohio lawmaker is thinking about his own presidential run. That story just ahead. And later, if you've taken a trip to the Grand Canyon recently, you may have been exposed to uranium. These stories when Newswatch returns.
Is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
This is a box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you, Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
I loved Ken Burns' series on the Civil War. It was deeply impacting. I love history. To have those stories told through these letters, through stories of love and loss, it rewrote the book on how to tell a story. When television was invented, there were a lot of people who had dreams about what it could do. I think PBS still aspires for and often succeeds at reaching the highest ideals of what television could be.
Robert Mueller's investigation may soon be coming to a close. According to people familiar with the matter, Attorney General Bill Barr could announce the completion of the Russia probe as early as next week. The almost 2-year-long investigation will close with a confidential report submitted directly to Barr. The Attorney General then has to decide how much of that report he will share with Congress, but legally does not have to disclose any of it. A Democratic-led House Oversight Committee is investigating reports that the White House is planning on building dozens of nuclear reactors in Saudi Arabia. A new report cites whistleblowers within the administration. It says senior White House officials pushed the project despite objections of ethics and national security officials. Lawmakers from both parties are worried that Saudi Arabia could develop nuclear weapons if the U.S. technology is not safeguarded. Senator Bernie Sanders has already raised nearly $6 million for his presidential campaign. This was within 24 hours after announcing his second run, and is more than any other candidate so far in the Democratic race. More than 223,000 people in all 50 states made donations. But Sanders may have even more competition in the Democratic primary. Democratic State Representative Tim Ryan from Ohio says he has not ruled out running for president and could be joining the field.
What are your plans for 2020? Have you decided?
No, I haven't decided. I'm concerned about what's going on, the economy, the workers, people are suffering, the country's really divided. And, I think maybe I could be one of the people who could maybe help, work with business and help workers as well get cut in on the deal. So I'm not ruling it out, no.
So far, 12 Democrats have announced that they are running for president. Sub-zero temperatures, deep snow, and harsh mountain conditions. How the U.S. Marines train to fight in some of the most demanding environments in the world. That story's just ahead.
And the weather looking here, it's going to be with some rain and also some cool, and we're going to have more rain coming up in the weekend. But here's a look at spots of local interest.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well, then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse.
TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
PBS had a special on Pearl Harbor, and once Landon started watching the show about the Arizona, he completely became fascinated.
That's Donald Stratton, and that's me.
And then his Christmas wish this year was to meet Donald Stratton, one of the survivors from the Arizona.
So good to see you, buddy.
Everything that Landon has learned from PBS, it's immeasurable.
This is for you.
Thank you, big guy.
He is living proof of the effect that PBS has had on his life.
Right after the break on Newswatch, football team.
Officials at Grand Canyon National Park are warning that anyone who visited the park in the last 2 decades may have been exposed to unsafe levels of uranium. 3 buckets of uranium were found stored next to a taxidermy exhibit at the museum last year. The National Park Service removed and disposed of the buckets last June. But don't worry, the Department of Interior says that uranium exposure was unlikely to be hazardous to visitors. An Arizona man is recovering after spending hours stuck in quicksand in the freezing cold at Utah's Zion National Park over the weekend. The 34-year-old man suffered from hypothermia while his companion walked 3 hours to find phone service to alert authorities. Rescuers worked for 2 hours before freeing the man, before spending the night in the dark along with him due to snowfall. The hiker was taken to a nearby hospital.
Hello, and I'm Adlai. We're going to take a look at right now Athens. You see it's a high of 46 degrees right now with humidity of 95%. So it is still raining over in all the Athens area with the winds not too much of a factor at only 0 to 5 miles per hour. We'll take a look at the right now temperatures over here, and we're going to see that Athens is at 46, Columbus is at 41, Chillicothe is at 45, Jackson is also at 45. So you can see much more of a mid-40s is probably the average around the area. You take a look at tonight, 34 degrees. Rain will stop after midnight and it will be cloudy throughout the night. Winds will pick up just a little bit at only 5 to 10 miles an hour to the west-northwest. Take a look at the hour by hour tonight. At 8 p.m., we're going to have about 40% in rain. At 10 p.m., we're going to have 50 degrees. It's actually going to warm up a little bit before it gets cooler. So around midnight, it's going to slowly get cooler. We're going to have 50 degrees with still some more rain. And then at 12 a.m., you'll have your last burst of rain at night. With 50% chance of rain, and it will clear up after midnight and it will start to cool off after midnight. So you definitely get to see there. Let's take a look at tonight's lows. Columbus at 32, New Lexington at 32 as well, Athens at 34, Ripley at 39, so mostly all in the 30s. As we'll take a look at tomorrow, and the sun will be back tomorrow, 46 degrees, a small chance of rain, maybe a drizzle or two, nothing too much. Winds will be out of the west at 5 to 10 miles an hour. And we'll take a look at tomorrow in southeastern Ohio. Ripley at 51, Jackson at 48, Chillicothe at 44, Columbus at 38. So mostly a pretty good range, mostly in the 40s, upper 40s for most of the day tomorrow. And we'll take a look at the precipitation. You see that rain tonight that's going to push through in the during the AM hours is going to push through there. And you'll see that as we look for tomorrow, that you can see that same cold front is going to push through, and all that rain is going to disappear for now. But as you see for tomorrow night, you can see that the clouds are starting to move in, and there'll be more rain towards the weekend. You take a look at your weekend outlook, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, all looking good. And we'll take a look at our 7-day outlook here. Thursday and Friday, not much rain, but Saturday's going to be a lot of rain, more and more rain coming. And Sunday, going to be windy, a blustery day in Sunday. And then Wednesday will be our next chance for maybe some snow, and we'll send it back to you.
Thank you, Adelaide. Hunkered down behind walls of snow and sub-zero temperatures, hundreds of Marines are training to fight in some of the most unforgiving environments in the world. Haven Daily has why these realistic experiences are so important.
A steep climb, 8,000 feet high, up the snowy Sierra Mountains. But this is no backcountry adventure.
Hey, they're squirting to the left! They're squirting to the left!
Hundreds of U.S. Marines are braving sub-zero temperatures and deep snow to take part in simulated warfare.
I got a 240! It sucks, but death sucks even more.
It's preparing them to fight in the most demanding environment in the world.
Face the tree line. It's part of the U.S. military's pivot from fighting almost exclusively in the deserts of the Middle East over the past decade to preparing for climates in other potential conflict zones, including the extreme cold of North Korea and Russia.
In the Far East, whether it's in Northern Europe, etc., we're replicating that here. And what we're finding is that it's an extremely challenging problem. And it's a problem that frankly, if we don't train to, it's going to cost a lot of Marine lives.
I keep losing it.
The Associated Press got exclusive access to the U.S. Marines Mountain Warfare Training Center, where combat boots are worthless without snowshoes or cross-country skis.
That's okay.
But having the most advanced protective snow gear doesn't make life much easier here.
You constantly having to dig or move up a mountain range, so it's physically taxing, but more than anything, I think it's mentally taxing on them.
Among the most difficult things about fighting in the snow is not only keeping yourself warm, but your equipment and your weapons functioning properly.
Kind of clean the weapon, make sure it's all nice and dry. We're trying to keep it dry, but due to the weather, it's impossible.
You can get a lot of parts failures. Things get really brittle in the cold. They like to break. One of the biggest ones that we see is, getting ice in your chamber and not able to actually get the gun into battery. So things you have to be very cognizant of. As far as employment too, if they set up a machine gun and it's sitting on the snow, it's just going to sink into it. So we show them ways of keeping that machine gun afloat.
Important lessons as the unforgiving cold may become the next military hotspot. Haven Daily, Associated Press, Bridgeport, California.
Hi, I'm Thomas Garvick. Right after the break on Newswatch, the Ohio football team released their schedule today. We take a look at all 12 of Ohio's games in 2019, and then also later on, my story on an Ohio women's basketball player that has helped the Bobcats stay atop the MAC this year. That and more when Newswatch returns. But first, here's a look at what's coming up tonight on your local public television station.
A box that showed you a world beyond your own. It was just a box, but the world has changed, and so have we. And now the box can be almost any size or shape. And you decide what you want to explore. Anytime, any place. Break out of the box with PBS.
What are you doing?
Possibilities. Your day is filled with them.
Reach up, energy in the fingertips, collapse. TV, play Downton Abbey.
And PBS helps everyone discover theirs. Anytime, anywhere.
Up in the sky, you can see it.
PBS, we're with you for life.
Well, if you love TVC basketball action as much as we do, well then we got the show for you. Hardwood Heroes. Come along with us as we will be breaking down all the action every week. It airs Sundays at 11 p.m. and again Mondays at 6 p.m. But remember, our coverage isn't just limited to the show. We have content being posted all week long on our Twitter, Facebook, and even Snapchat. We will also have written recaps posted on our webpage and video recaps on our YouTube channel. So check those out as well. And always remember to be heroic.
WOUB is member-supported public television. Your contribution keeps WOUB available in your community. Become a member with a gift of $60 or more for access to stream more than 1,000 of your favorite PBS programs through WOUB Passport. Programs like Nature, Sherlock, and all episodes of Downton Abbey and Victoria. Pledge now at WOUB.org. And thank you.
Welcome back. I'm Thomas Garvick, and let's be honest here. Football season, it's never over. The Ohio football team released its schedule for the 2019 season today, and sooner before you know it, fans will be back at Peden. The Ohio football team opens the season with Rhode Island on August 31st, and for the first time since 2015, Ohio will battle Marshall in the Battle for the Bell. Getting into conference play now, 4 of Ohio's first 5 games will be at Peden, featuring Northern Illinois as the homecoming game. Then down the stretch, Ohio hosts Miami as part of the 150th anniversary celebration of college football. It'll be the only football game on November 6th. That game, as well as Ohio's final 4 games, will be nationally televised on ESPN. Last year, the Ohio women's basketball team finished just a shade over 500 at 16-15. This year, though, a different story. The team is 21-3 and in the thick of things for the MAC title. What changed? Well, after 2 years of sitting and watching, Ohio finally has Erica Johnson in her competitive drive.
Sitting out my senior year, sitting out this year, 2 years in a row, it's mentally challenging.
Erica Johnson's basketball journey hit a roadblock. She missed all of her senior year of high school with a knee injury, and then last year suffered an ankle injury that forced her to redshirt her freshman year. Simply put, it wasn't easy.
It was extremely hard when you know what you can bring to the team and you know you can help them out, and we struggled in rebounding, and I know I can rebound. Just things like that. You know you can be a help to the team, but your body won't allow you, so it's really frustrating.
The frustration of what if and what could have been.
I know at times it was very difficult. It was difficult for me to have somebody like that sitting on our bench when we were losing games last year, and it was difficult for her to watch.
She fought and stayed patient, knowing her chance would eventually come.
I knew that my teammates were excited to have me out there. They knew what I could do, so it was just the anticipation. It was just like, I know my time's coming, so just keep working.
Her time this year has come in a big way. She leads the team in rebounds and is second in points and assists per game. But her biggest trait, her spirit for winning.
I don't like to lose, and even when we're winning, we know we still always have to get better. So even when we're winning, we're having fun. We know that we still have one common goal, and the games that we've won are not winning the championship, so we're still working towards the championship. So even when we're winning, losing, I still like to be vocal and help my teammates out.
You know, she's a kid that loves playing, she loves winning, and she loves her teammates, and that has been a tremendous asset to the team this year.
Johnson might just will Ohio to a MAC title this year. For WOUB, Thomas Garber. Johnson and Ohio are off today, but are back in action this weekend when they travel to take on Kent State. Thanks for the Ohio men's basketball team. Well, they're looking bad. Really, really bad. Ohio was in Buffalo last night to take on the 25th ranked Buffalo Bulls, and they got straight up bulldozed. The Bulls hit 19 threes. What? Javon Graves hit 7 of them. Just ridiculous. Graves, he had a career high 26 points in this game. How about one more to end the half? Buffalo up 52-27 at the break. Thought 52 was a lot. Try 62 for an encore. The Bulls put up 114. They win 114-67. It's Ohio's worst loss since 1973. 45 years. Wow. Now on to high school hoops. Playoff action continues tonight. Federal Hockey takes on Sims Valley. That game already underway over at Meigs High School. Brad Russell trying to keep the Lancer season alive. And then at 8, Jackson High School features a TVC Ohio matchup between Mikey Seal and the Nelsonville York Buckeyes as they take on Jake K. Kearns and the Alexander Spartans. For coverage on those games, check out WEB.org. Just a friendly reminder, Duke, North Carolina tonight. Make sure you're watching if you're a big-time sports fan. I'm Thomas Garvick, and that's it for sports. Back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Thomas. A U.S. Army veteran found his uniform in an antique store. He says he lost his Army greens when he was moving from different parts of California. The loss left him heartbroken because he said he sees the uniform as a representation of the time he spent serving his country. Recently, Zenos Lopez and his wife were in an antique mall and came across the lost uniform, medals and all. The owner of the shop said he could tell that Lopez was the rightful owner and let him have it for free.
No, it's yours. You've earned that. I can tell how much he appreciates it.
Lopez says he'll add the uniform to a shadow box he's been building to commemorate his time in the military. Now let's go over to Adelaide for a last look at the weather.
Hello, I am forecaster Adelaide Carwish, and tomorrow we'll definitely take a look at 46 degrees. The sun will be back. There'll be a small chance of rain, though, with winds to the west at 5 to 10 miles an hour. We're going to take a look at your 7-day outlook here. Thursday and Friday looking pretty clear, maybe a small chance of rain, but then the weekend comes and Saturday, all of a sudden, it's more and more rain. And Sunday's going to be just as windy. Wednesday will be your next chance for maybe some snow, and I'll send it back to you, Ben.
Thank you, Adelaide. And that does it for our broadcast this evening. Thanks for watching. I'm Ben Schwartz. Stay tuned for the PBS NewsHour coming up next. And remember, you can always find the latest news anytime at WOUB.org. Have a great night.